Black Lives Matter. My tongue can't speak for young black lives, but don't act surprised to get stung when you attack hives. Your own medicine, you need the lip lock. Look at our faces when these lips talk. How come you racists get the grip glocks? Boys in blue, but they don't crip walk. Why'd you think that people kneel and stay mad? Not hitching rides, but they're hailing a cab. Being black in America is risking your neck. George Floyd, he didn't give his skin respect. He said he couldn't breathe. Are you deaf? Now his family's grieving his death. Now he's underground, like the president's bunker. Lights out in the White House, the president's bunkers. They say time flies when you're having fun. Blind eyes for 9 minutes must have felt like one. Rest in peace to George Floyd and every victim of police brutality. Fuck the dirty cops. It's Sunday. You know what that means. What's the crack, guys? Welcome back to Uncensored. As the show's not running a typical schedule anymore, I've tried to up the runtime just to give people a little bit more content to listen to. Coming up on the show, we have A10SIN, aka DJ Green. He's a MC/producer from Galway, and also one half of the hip-hop duo Field Literature along with Trust. We'll be talking about his rap group, we'll be talking about his solo projects, we'll be talking about his beat making. We've got a lot to discuss, so it's going to be a really sick listen for you guys. Also coming up now, we've got the Dysfunctional BMC with his tune Feel the Funk for our track of the week.
Northwest Hub Pop, the Dysfunctional BMC, strictly for snuffers. Get on ye! I sit back with me zigzag pack with me big bag of blue cheese. Please give me that amnesia here so we can get blazed up in this place. Get shit faced, everybody get a taste. But you get smoked like a blunt, you come. And I jump to the front with the bags of funk. I'm a ragged fuck and I'm stuck in a dump, but I don't give a fuck, I still get fucked up. I'm a ragged looking fuck cause I'm stuffing on the white stuff. A slight puff got me feeling quite rough, but I lighten up cause I'm on a hump for a muff. The flow of the drugs got me in the low pose and my jaw moves lefty right. Full flight all night, no sight. I'm wiped to the pipe, I'm high as a kite. Now my jaw's locked tight. I'm rushing to the toilet for a come up shite. I'm monkey, sorry lines of the monkey. So chunky that you think I was a junkie. The dirt now hurts for the effects of the come down. Head's fried as a joint to the ground. Don't get it twisted, stuff get lofty. 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 I feel that funk when I sank that drink. I snuffed that monk till me mind goes blank. Poppies, pull a fit weak at the knees. It's the end of the week, so I'm spending it. Now I'm fried to the max and I can't chillax. Going to it out, so I buy another bag. Get the lines out, there's no need for a timeout. I fell down, but now I'm getting wiped out right now. And it's time to go bonkers. Off me tree, popping knees in the bunker. Every tune's a pumper and molder. Let me balls phase longer and longer and stronger. I get pissed, take a left from the snuff. I look like shite, but I don't give a shit. I groove to the music, it's so soothing. My feet keeps moving and I keep losing. Mangle, every day of the weekend. Panel, till the end of speechless, hammered. I take a rest from the meth. Mondays are right, so my head's in the shed. I feel that funk when I sank that drink. I snuffed that monk till my mind goes blank. Poppies, pull a fit weak at the knees. It's the end of the week, so I'm spending a heap. I feel that funk when I sank that drink. I snuffed that monk till my mind goes blank. Poppies, pull a fit weak at the knees. It's the end of the week, so I'm spending a heap. Now the Jack in the Morgan's attacking my organs. Snorting, the lines are wiped in the morning. Sorted, I can give a fuck about a bedtime. So when it's time for bed, I do another line. I feel fine, taking the sunshine. I'm alive on the drink and the drugs are combined. I'm steaming, don't know the meaning of sleeping. Dreaming when I'm awake on the weekend. Flash block, even though I got a big cock, it's shoved down to the size of a raindrop. Tick TikTok, but the sex don't stop. Give me MDMA and I'll eat the lot like good gear. So strong I shed a wee tear. The disco dust as a moss with a few beers too dear. So I settle for a low kitties, and this is how we get down in Derry City. I feel that funk when I sank that drink. I snuffed that lung till my mind goes blank. Pop bees, till I feel weak at the knees. It's the end of the week, so I'm spending a heat. I feel that funk when I sank that drink. I snuffed that lung till my mind goes blank. Pop bees, till I feel weak at the knees. It's the end of the week, so I'm spending a heat.
Aye, so that was the dysfunctional BMC with Feel the Funk. I was chatting to BMC during the week and he was saying that his solo album's in the works, so be getting a lot of new music from him soon, hopefully. Speaking of new music, we have a new project from O28 member Naru called Hydrophonic. Some very fresh songs on there. I've been chatting to Naru, well I was a while ago there, and we scheduled to get him on the show here eventually, so hopefully we can make it happen. We should be able to make it happen soon. Yeah, but anyway, need to get back in there rapping, so here's A10SIN spitting a few bars for you, and then he's going to be on talking about his music.
I dedicate this poem to my ex-girlfriend. I love you, babe. Cause we all know some of those full-time mothers got pumped full of cum by some done-time fucker. Dropping off her kids in her pajamas, you don't even have to think that this bitch is drama. With her hula hoop ears and teeth worse than me, you hear stupid fucking fool when she's cursing her fiend. Flirting with me, cause I have a bit of class, I don't eat through the trash when I'm looking for a bit of ass. Story, bud, you have 3 skins and a roach, all the while her fiend is feasting all your smoke. Get the fuck away from me, you mangy bitch, that ain't even makeup, that's just pasty shit. Feed your baby, bitch, named Fabian, thought he was Damien's, yet he looks Arabian. Can't control your kids, we're trying to hold down a fix. It might be better if your pussy wasn't a hotel for dicks, and they can lock the locks but can't stop the clocks. Doesn't change the fact your boy deserves to rot in a box. You're rotten, no thought your man thinks he's 2-pack when he ain't shit, he's just another fucking hood rat. With your twisted flappy lips, you has been damaged trampy bitch. Yeah, I'd give you a tissue, I don't AIDS crabs and shit, cause you ain't feeling the best with speed and semen for breakfast. And yeah, ice text another sketch while you search for your dressings. And let me guess, you never met your father, so you let me in your bed and say, fuck me like your daughter. If she's calling you daddy, the first you're fucking her shit. Well, she's a bad fucking fan, you better run up and split, you bitch. Bye bye.
Well mate, what's the crack with you? Thanks for coming on the show.
What's up, man? Appreciate coming on.
How are you getting on with the whole lockdown shit and everything that's going on at the minute?
I can't really complain, to be honest. Being in the position as a musician or anyone with any form of creativity in their daily routine, like I find loads to do. I'm not having any issues there really at all. Like I started an EP, I'd say maybe in April or something. No, about March, and I got it done in the space of a month. It was with Shy Son, a producer from Cork.
Yeah, Son of Shailin,
yeah. And that, like, it literally, like, I had nothing else to do, really, so I was sitting at home just putting that together, and that went really well. Came out there just about a couple of weeks ago now at this point, but, like, I'm already moving on to my second project.
Always at it, mate. You're always at something. Do you want to go into Son of Shailin first, then?
Yeah. Well, I knew Shy Son for a while. I just been tuning into his stuff every so often on YouTube and stuff like that. And then I kind of never really seen his produce, like his name show up on a lot of tracks. You know, he was producing basically a lot of his own stuff, but I think he's a really good producer. In my opinion, one of the most slept on producers in the country. So I just said, look, listen, man, if you want to just give me a few beats, I'll happily spit tracks on them, like. And he said, fire away. So he sent me over a bunch of beats, and yeah, just from there, I didn't really go into the project with any like intention to hit any notes, and I definitely didn't want it to be the lockdown EP, if you get me. Like, it wasn't just going to be about the coronavirus and what was going on and stuff. It was just the poem at the start was all based on lockdown, just how my interpretation of it and what was going on with it. But then the rest of the album, as far as I have a few like lines here and there that reference what's going on right now, but I didn't want it to be, you know, the coronavirus album at all. I just wanted it to be.
I really loved the way you done that intro, you know, going a cappella. I thought that it's just something different for it, no, to open it up, wasn't it?
I had I'm trying to think, what was the other intro I had? I was gonna have one of the voicemail skits that I had in the middle of it as the intro originally. They were just two of the lads just like messaged me randomly on Instagram, sending me those recordings, just fake threatening me or whatever. Like, and I was like, would you mind if I just throw them onto the EP I'm working on? They're like, fire away, man, no problem. Like, so I stuck them in. Like, a lot of people messaged me about those, thinking they were real. Like, it's like, have you listened to it? It sounds like fucking some Hardy Bucks type shit or something like that. The naivety of certain people, I guess.
Yeah, well, maybe that's something to address here too. I think we were talking about it before, so a lot of people maybe don't know that A10SIN is DJ Green and DJ Green is A10SIN.
Yeah, you didn't know that yourself?
At the start I thought you were the same person, and then I was talking to somebody and they told me you weren't, and then I was sort of seeing maybe like A10SIN like DJ Green's thing or whatever, and I was like, nah, they couldn't be the same person then.
Yeah, I think you said it was Coley B that said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, man. Like, there was people that I just kind of like, I was standing next to the video while showing them the video, and they're like, who is this A10SIN guy, like? And I even heard, like, I was in a Pharmacia there, it's a pub in Limerick. Like, I overheard a group of people I didn't know, like, and they were talking, like, about this A10SIN guy, like, who the fuck is he, this guy in the hockey mask and shit, like. And I was just like, I just stepped in and I was like, oh, I wouldn't talk shit about him, he's a dangerous man. They were like, oh, do you know him? Like, yeah. It's like, he, basically the story I was telling people originally was pretty ridiculous. It was basically, me and him met basically randomly one day. I basically said that I was in the woods in the Wicklow Mountains, just like hanging about by myself, smoking a spliff, and I stumbled upon this guy, like, and we were just chatting away. I told him I was a producer, and he said he was a rapper. And then he told me that he was going away to prison for like some mad shit, like, so it, like, basically I told people that I recorded all that stuff before he went to jail. I never told anyone, and then when he went to jail I started putting together all the songs and just like releasing them one by one, like, and you'd be surprised, man, a good portion of people believed it. And like, I'd say when I first started off, only maybe about 3 people knew straight off.
Jesus Christ, man.
It was it was funny as fuck, man, and I still have that up on his Bandcamp and shit like that. You know the way everyone gets their like a pure official kind of good detailed bio. Mine's like, A10SIN was discovered in the Wicklow Mountains by DJ Green one day, and like he'd been scratching his rhymes on like tree bark and shit like this. It's like,
mate, you could make a short movie with that shit.
Yeah. Like, I kind of I liked having the mysterious side to it, but as well, I guess I kind of in a way wanted to be acknowledged as A10SIN, because he was getting a bit of praise here and there, like, so I was like, well, you know, that's actually me, like. And I mean, I've had people, I've actually like not told people it's me to get their honest opinion, and like generally when I've said like, oh, so what do you think of this A10SIN guy, mostly like I've gotten like, oh man, he's good, or he's on the rise, like, at least, like, I know by no means at all am I near a peak, or am I on the level that I think I could end up being at if I keep practicing. But I think for only being at it like properly for maybe just over a year.
Is that all you've been doing it for, a year, man? I didn't realise that.
I messed about with it a couple of times when I was a bit younger, and it was shite, like, so I kind of said I'm going to stick to the producing for now. And then eventually just picked it up again. I would have been just about 22, and I said at this point I don't want to be the guy who's 27 just deciding I'm going to rap. I says I might as well just fucking get it over with and do it now, like, if I'm going to do it, because I've been writing stuff for ages and just kind of really like kind of keeping it in the background. And I said you may as well just get the balls and just do it. And yeah, I eventually went ahead with it, and since then I haven't looked back. Like, I've released 1 solo album, 1 EP, 2 mixtapes of just random tracks, and also the Future album, as well as a good few features for the likes of Dames. I've done stuff with Big Man Davey. I've done stuff with and with the current, it's actually the one you messaged me about the last day about featuring on that track. With that one I'm working on, I'm planning on getting a few features of people that I haven't done stuff with it before.
Yeah, man, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to work on that there. The fucking beat sounded tidy on it. I've been writing wee bars here, but I want to see what you've done first before I put anything down on concrete.
It wasn't at all what I was planning on doing with that track. The beat, it wasn't a song I was going to listen to, but like, I'm going to make this about being fucking living in the country, growing up in the countryside, and like, you know, basically like I'm talking about like tripping with farting with friends at one point, like back in the day, like, because we used to go into the woods and take acid, like, and fucking almost every time it would happen we'd come across some ridiculous nature experience, like, and I mean, it wouldn't be too wild for someone growing up in the country, but like, it's genuinely always been something where it's like, I've never seen that in my life. Like, I'm going a bit off topic, but I'll tell you this funny story where I was out in
I was out in Old Head, Mayo, and we were all tripping, sitting by the beach or whatever, and I was looking out into the water, and I kept seeing something out in the water, and I was like, it must just be the acid, like, it can't be there, like, and the boys were all facing me, but eventually, I definitely saw a bunch of dolphins hopping out of the water. But every time I told the lads to look, they wouldn't show up. And I was like, look, lads, I swear to you, I'm not lying. Stare out there for 10 minutes, and if you don't see a dolphin, I'm delusional. And then eventually, out of nowhere, I'd say about 40 or 50 dolphins came out of the water. And we were about we ran out to the beach. We were probably about maybe 200 meters away from them. I do have a video deep in my Instagram, fucking the bowels of it, to prove it. Like, but whenever I tell people the story, they're like, oh, you know, that was just the acid. It's like, no, genuinely, we fucking seen it, like. And like, I mean, stuff like that,
That's a belter, mate.
it is a kind of mad experience, and stuff like that. It's definitely a good inspiration for music, in a sense. Like, you know, what would you call it? Like outworldly experiences. Well, obviously it's a kind of regular thing to happen, but not like that. And especially when you're like sitting about on a beach on acid, not expecting anything to fucking happen, and next thing you're seeing a bunch of dolphins in the water. Like, Jesus Christ, like. Stuff like that would have been a kind of inspiration for that song.
Yeah, I get you.
Still kind of living at home in the countryside, like where I live now. I'm back with my old lad, like, because I moved out from Clare. My mates are all moved away now to, like, you know, into the city and stuff like that. So the kind of buzz of just meeting up in the evenings, going out to the woods and just, you know, drinking a few cans and talking shit is kind of gone, or it's more of a privilege now to do that again. Like, so.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man.
I was inspired by that, and I'm kind of I like to kind of bring a lot of kind of childhood and like teen years stuff into the music, like not just the typical like angsty teenager shit, but just like, you know, the kind of they're generally the best times of most people's lives. You know, being a kid as far as your 20s are kind of like it's the peak of most people's lives in terms of your freedom and getting to do all that fun shit you want to do. You know.
I know, mate, getting it all out your system and stuff, like. Even last week, I was on the phone to Lord, and he was like, well, yeah, mate, I'm not joking you, it's sort of free to head up with the lockdown, and just ended up fucking sitting up a tree, fucking recording myself freestyling with a couple of beers just for something to fucking do. And he's like, what, yeah, sitting up a fucking tree here.
Yeah, man, I got mad for fucking making fires out the back and fucking cooking on it just for the crack, like. I got back into playing Red Dead Redemption lately, man, and it's just fucking had me, like, on that, like, going outside and just cooking on a fire, and I'm going hunting next week as well, and the reason why I'm just so mad to do it is like because I've got the bandolier of cartridges, like it's like we're gonna go camping, it's like I'm playing Red Dead right now, so I'm mad for this sort of shit. And because
what way do you hunt, mate?
Well, no, I haven't done it for years and years now. I used to do it with my here and there with my brother when he moved to Canada there about 6 or 7 years ago, but I used to do it with him and my uncles as well, but not for a long time now. And then my mate my mate is living up in Athlone at the moment, and a few of my mates went up there and they were hunting rabbit last week with just bird shot in the shotgun. I was like, here lads, can I come up? Like, you know, I mean, I would have a fair amount of experience with guns and shit like that, and I said I've got a bunch of 12 gauges as well, so we can go mad with those, have great crack. But like, yeah, no,
I done my first bit of shooting there around Christmas time, and mate, I was fucking awful at it, like, it's brutal, but I want to sort of get my wits about it and go try and take up the hunting.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be a mad hunter, like you know, I'll only do it to eat it. Like, I mean, I've been on trips where I was with lads and like older lads, and like they'd happily kill like 20 or 30 duck and like do nothing with them, and I was like, I'm not for that really. Like, I'd not. Even just in general, I prefer shooting at just random crap, you know, like, I mean, not that I'm going out doing that the whole time, but if I was out there just shooting at a fucking, you know, bottles or cans or something like that, I'm not for kind of just...
I've always said, like, if you're going to eat an animal, you should be willing to kill it.
I know that I am. Hunting and stuff like that, I would have put down a couple of chickens and birds and stuff like that when they were either if they were sick, to put them out of their misery, or to actually eat them, like, you know. And it's a, you know, gutting a bird is a fairly disgusting experience, but that's how it is, you know, out in the wild. So I don't really have any pain inside of me for eating animals. Like, obviously it's terrible how they get fucking treated in a lot of cases, but I know that I'd be willing to go out there and hunt if I had to, like.
Yeah, man, yeah. Just to go back into the music, the lead single of Son of Shaolin, Firmin and Slime, what was the creative process of that? Like, a lot of your music's very unique, no the style to it, so...
I couldn't really explain, because the chorus and that is like all like different snake types and shit like that. And basically what the chorus is meaning, like, you know, a snake, while it's considered to be a slimy, slithery, bad creature, it's still quite a, you know, powerful creature. You know, they're fucking mad poisonous, and, you know, we've got anacondas, they're fucking strong, and the black mamba will kill you in one bite and all this shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that's like too much of a compliment to people who are snaky. So I was like, you're not fucking any of these types of beautiful reptiles. You're a fucking vermin and slime, or you're a rat. Like, no one wants to be a rat or a fucking and vermin and slime is just a disgusting image. Like, you know, fucking a rat covered in slime or some shit. It doesn't really have any deep metaphorical meaning or anything like that. And then the rest of the track, I don't really know. Like, that particular one, man, it was just me sitting back being baked and just fucking firing away at it, like whatever came to mind. Like, there's a lot of weird shit on that particular release. Like, I'm thinking of keeping the whole, I mentioned to the last interview, all like the serious kind of, if you want to call it deep conspiracy theory kind of sort of shit, I want to keep that to the field literature stuff, and then anything that's kind of personal or just kind of weird like that, put it on the fucking attention solo shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you want to go into the field? Literature stuff? Just that the devil was a culture. I think you've probably heard this a million times now, but that's definitely the best album title to ever come out of this fucking.
I didn't think it would be. It just kind of, I was messing around with a load of shit with in my head, and Jason just leaves the creative process to me. In that sense, like with the artwork and the names and stuff like that. But I can't remember really where it came out of. Like, I must have seen something where I saw the devil was it was like, I don't know really know where it came out, to be honest. It was a random thought, maybe not something so memorable, but it just came into my head. The way field literature came together was I listened to Jason's stuff plenty of times, and I think that he's one of the best rappers in this country, definitely.
He's sick, mate. He's sick. See, since I got that physical off you, right? I should probably plug this for anyone that doesn't know. You've still got some CDs still to sell, yeah?
Yeah, I still have a couple, about 20 copies left. If I can meet you in person, I'll do it for a $5, and if I have to post it, at least Ireland is another €2 extra. But I mean, that's, you know, I think it's worth it, to be honest, because it's a very nice quality fucking CD. It's put together by Ricky Greenman Small. His email is GreenFX Productions, I believe. I'll confirm that if it's wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's right. And he does a really nice price. He's put together three releases for me now on CD, and yeah, like, genuinely, it's really, and he puts together like a little vinyl kind of CD.
Yeah, mate. I see. It's the wee disc, mate. Sure, I had the photo of it up on Facebook. The wee disc in it. It's fucking, like, it's nice. It's nice to look at the way it's all been put together. And the thing I was going to say was, if anybody's looking to buy it, I'll have the link to your Instagram and stuff in my thing so they can hit you up. But see, just playing that, like, I'll whenever I get a CD or whatever, I'll just play it on loop in my car. So I've been playing it on repeat the last 2 weeks. Yeah, mate, your guy Trust, he's a fucking sick rapper, mate. He knows his lyrical ability. He's got it, like.
He's basically what happened there was, like, as I said, I'd listened to his stuff and I couldn't really understand why he didn't really have much stuff out. And I was chatting to him. We got friendly on Facebook or whatever, and I kept, on to him saying he's a sick rapper and stuff like that. Would he do a few tracks? And, like, he never said no, but he was just reluctant to he was disillusioned with the scene, I guess, and just had his own personal problems and stuff like that. But then he just turned around to me one day. He's like, "Look, man, like, you've been texting me nearly every day for about 2 years, so, like, you must be fucking serious, and I doubt in any way you're trying to exploit me or something like that." So just from there, like, we ended up putting together, and I came up with the idea of field literature, obviously a play on street literature from Dublin. Like, yeah, just from there, man, I went ahead and, like, I kind of I had some of the beats made, but I think the kind of beauty of that particular project where it was all gradually made. Like, I was making these beats, and, like, I was thinking, like, I'd say 90% of the beats that I made in that period of time, I threw them toward this album, because, like, I just was on a nice kind of creative process there where, like, I think as a producer, I go through stages of, like, I'll make a load of sick ones, and then it'll kind of stay on a certain level for a little while, and then it'll go up and up and up every so often. But it's kind of maybe like a couple of months of just, like, these beats they're solid, but they're, I'm not going through a stage of making lots of sick ones. And that particular time was a great one where I thought I was making a lot of really, really good beats and getting some class samples.
Yeah, there was I'll tell you one thing. I'll be honest about. I don't know a lot of the song names, and the reason is because I'm playing it on loop in the car. I'm not sort of, like, looking at the back, like, whenever I get onto a certain track to say. But like, mate, there's some fucking belters in it. Like, see, what's the one? Sorry, Earth, but we're gonna fall out.
That's FEV, Forced Evolutionary Virus. It's a
Like-
Fallout reference, that.
But yeah,
It's definitely my favorite project I've worked on, for sure, and I'm very excited to see what'll come together in the future. Like, we're both gonna get solo releases out of the way, and I have to get that DJ Green album out of the way, and I have another secret EP I'm working on with a couple of artists.
and Trust has just dropped a mixtape too, hasn't he?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff's quite old stuff. It's like a mixed. I pushed him to do that. A lot of the stuff like he does like that. Like I'm egging him on to do it. I said, look, man, you should make a fucking Bandcamp, throw up a mixtape, because you've got a lot of unreleased stuff there, and you've got stuff that's like they're not necessarily correlated to each other, so you can easily just make a mixtape, throw it up to Fiverr or some shit like that. And yeah, he went and did it eventually. So.
Mixtape, all it is really, it's sort of a compilation too. So
Yeah,
you know,
I put together the shitty artwork for that as well. It's pity because it's funny about that. He originally wanted to call it Dosser, so I put together this artwork of just like this massive fat fella sitting on a couch eating Doritos with a load of potatoes around him, and I was like, I know you're probably not going to use it, and I won't be insulted, but at least consider it. And I sent it to him. He was like, yeah, but I was like, I kind of want something a bit more serious. It's like, fair enough. Like, I'm definitely going to keep it. There's like a big crab sitting next to the fat guy just smoking a spliff. Like, it was funny as fuck to make, but I kind of knew he wasn't going to use it. But fair enough. Like, I was taking the piss.
on the Field Literature project, you done was it the Revenge of the Sith theme? You were rapping over, mate. That was fucking class. That's one of the ones, where like me as a rapper, I was like jealous. I was like, oh, why didn't I think of doing that?
The last part where I'm kind of speed rapping after Jason comes in, that's probably my least favorite part of the whole album, because I just feel like I wasn't ready. It was a hard part to do, so it wasn't perfect. But the intro and then Jason's part, I think, is class. I think as a song, it wasn't the last song we finished. I think as a song, it could have been better with a little bit more work. But I think at that point, I was just burnt out, and I was like, look, I'm kind of happy with it, and I'll see what people will say about it. But yeah, no, I love the sample of it, and fucking I think the start's basically about my mother in a sense. That was the kind of aspect of it, because I'll be honest, and this is pure fucking emotional, I guess, if you want to call it. I was watching the Phantom Menace recently enough, and it's kind of, the way it hit me was like, it's like kind of funny how you interpret things at a certain age. Like if I saw, when I was watching the film as a kid and I saw that scene, I'm like, oh, I just want him to become a Jedi, I don't care about this. And then like seeing as a teenager, I'm like, when he's leaving his mother behind, I'm like, oh, that's fucking gay, like, you know, look at him crying. And then I see it now, and obviously because my mother passed away when I was young, I see it from a more kind of mature side. I'm like, that poor kid, like, and I felt kind of a relation to it, where he has to let go and leave, and like he's never going to see her again and all this kind of stuff. And that's what kind of inspired that track then, just watching The Phantom Menace and catching that scene. That's why I have that little section at the start where he's leaving her behind on Tatooine or whatever.
Damn, yeah,
That song, like,
that's a deep parallel, like.
yeah, I was like, that poor little kid, like, because I mean, I guess for me, with an experience like that, I never really realized how it affected me till I was a lot older. I kind of thought it didn't really affect me at all. Like, I never was really upset about it. I didn't really, like, I wasn't afraid to talk about it or anything like that, but it just didn't really kind of affect me like everyone else. Like, I know people to this day where they talk about a death in the family like that 10 years later and they'd weep their eyes out, whereas it doesn't really affect me. But I think, looking back now, I have more kind of a sad emotions toward it, because I realized that it would have definitely steered me in a lot of certain directions when I was fucking younger and stuff like that. Built up, like, just emotions you don't understand, I guess, like frustration and fucking just, you know, loss and stuff like that. You don't really understand it, so you just think it's normal, especially as well because you're going through your teenage years, so your hormones and all that stuff are bumping all over the place.
Yeah,
so,
you're that young.
Yeah, so but then when I look back and I kind of speak to other people, you know, about that certain era in their life, I realized that there was kind of a fair difference between how I would have interpreted things and gone certain directions and all stuff like that, and stuff I would have experienced that, like, there is actually quite alien to a lot of other people, whereas I would have grown up thinking that's normal. So yeah, there's that side to it. But yeah, no, it's I can write songs about things like that and not feel sad or upset, and it's kind of a beautiful thing as well, in a sense too. Like, you know, you're making music out of experiences in your life that, you know, are entirely negative, at least in a sense.
Yeah, it can be quite. But yeah, man, I know what you mean. Like, that's like, For me, that's the great thing about making music. You know, you can sort of take experiences from your life and sort of express it in a way that, for instance, you get people that sort of pray, and it's sort of a case of talking to themselves. Where it's like, I find whenever you're writing, like, you're sort of talking to yourself, and you're sort of finding emotions within yourself that you don't even know you have necessarily until you start writing them down.
Like, I wouldn't notice it half the time, but I've shown my music to some people, and they said, "Jace, you're awfully angry." And I'm like, I wasn't even really angry when I wrote these songs, but that's kind of, as I said, going back to stuff that's like you think is kind of normal, but it's alien when you write it on the paper, where people kind of notice, like, oh, like, that's not how I interpret certain things. Like, it's kind of it's almost normal to be kind of harsh and kind of coarse and angry to you, but then when you kind of write it and like look at it back, you kind of get some perspective, and you're like, yeah, there's definitely a difference there, like, you know, because I mean, I definitely come out with a lot of stuff in the music and in general that people would kind of be like, you know, geez, that's awfully mad. I don't like to dip my toes in the water. I'll jump in head first. That's always my kind of my decision with, or my what I would say, like, how I'd approach music. Like, that's how I'd approach it, especially with rapping and stuff like that. If I'm gonna write a sad song about something that's really sad, I'm not gonna kind of just be like, oh yeah, I'm a bit sad, you know, I cried a little there, you know, oh, I was awfully bad. Jesus.
What was the track? You know, you sampled the Joker movie.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Man, like, it was very, like, a very emotional song, like, so I take it that there would have been a prime example of
Yeah,
that
I think
too.
I like that song, I think, because it was actually, I had recorded that song originally for the DJ Green album ages ago, but because it was me and Trust on it, I was like, fuck it, we'll use it for this. It's good, yeah. I'll be honest, I wouldn't say most of that's my experience in life. I've never been suicidal, really. I've never been majorly depressed or, you know, out of my mind, in a sense where I felt like, you know, I was really down in the dumps. Like, everyone feels a bit depressed every so often, and like, I think when you're younger, suicide naturally comes into your head, just being immature in that sense, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm going to kill myself after this, but then 5 minutes later you're like, oh no, that's just total delusion. I don't want to do that. Like, basically that song was my interpretation of other people's experiences, stuff I've gathered up and listened to and heard from people and stuff like that. That seems to be kind of I think I kind of, for someone who's not really gone through that, I think I kind of hit the nail on the head in a sense of what it's like to be in that kind of mindset where, you know, you've just fucking had enough of everything and stuff like that.
If you want, we've sort of talked about the field literature stuff there, so if you want, we'll sort of go in the upcoming DJ Green project.
Yeah, it's going to be similar to the same formula as Kushlan Coca, where I just got a bunch of rappers that I knew personally and stuck them on the album with a lot of with all DJ Green beats, of course. It's coming out in June 26th, which is the year anniversary of Kushlan Coca. I'll release it a week earlier on Bandcamp as well, just to encourage a few people to maybe buy it. Like, yeah, there's not really much to say about it in the sense that, like, it's kind of everything it's everything everyone knows exactly what it's going to be, pretty much.
San Andreas.
Play on the San Andreas thing, because I keep with the GTA style. I don't really know where that came out of. Just with the first one I did with that was the Sick Cont one with Animal.
I had the message you. I've done a song on my mixtape called San Andreas.
Yeah.
So if anybody thinks that I'm copying you.
Even if, you know, I didn't come up with San Andreas originally anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I wouldn't feel that way. Like, it's the same with the artwork. Like, it looks cool and all that, but like, everyone's done GTA artwork and hip hop at this point. Like, I'll plug Eamon Byrne, who put together that artwork. He does he's done the last 3 DJ Green albums for me. He does a fucking sick job. He spends months working at it. So if you're looking for something similar to that, I'd highly recommend that fella. He's from Tipperary. If you need contact details for him, get on to me about him.
It's one of them things that's worth paying for, mate, too. Like, I think we talked about this before, where it's like, see, the artwork itself.
Yeah.
Like, you want something that's going to be a bit timeless, and people.
Definitely.
Like, we were talking about, you know, how we would just pick an album up because we liked the way it looked.
Yeah. There is that too.
Like,
it's an attraction for at least the people who may not know who DJ Green is or have any interest in Irish hip hop. If they see a cool artwork, they'll be like, oh, sure, they're more inclined to give it a go if they weren't inclined to give it a go in the first place. Like,
what artists are going to be on it then?
Give me a second. I'll grab a list just so I can list them out perfectly without, because I don't want to end up forgetting anyone. I'll be 2 seconds. Right. We have Trust on one song.
Sick.
That's probably one of my favorite songs off the album. Then we have Little Nath. He's an Irish rapper from Sligo, but he's been living in Bristol, I think, for the last while. I got to know him a few years ago. He just messaged me one day asking for beats, and I've done a few tracks with him now. I'd say about close to 10 at this point. Really good guy. Drink Up the Fire with Killa Bass and Roadwise. Killa Bass he's based in Dublin, but he's Italian. And I asked him to rap in Italian for the crack, so it's actually his first verse is going to be in Italian, which is pretty cool. And I'm also on that song as well, actually.
That'll be sick to hear, mate.
There's 2J or Squinty. He goes by two different names depending on which alter ego he's rapping as.
Yeah.
Tommy Kenny. Then there's Euphoria. I always write his name wrong. It's like it's U4EA, Euphoria. But I've written it wrong so many times, like, and by the last time he was like, for fuck's sake, it's Euphoria. I was like,
mate, I know that feeling, mate. See, every time I see somebody writing something about me on Facebook or something, they'll put a hyphen in.
Spell mine out as well. I'd get a few mistakes too, because it's fucking at least attention anyway. DJ Green, I'd be very surprised now if anyone's misspelled DJ Green, to be honest.
I know, fuck's sake. You'd be surprised.
Up next then is Jay Sutton.
Dope.
After that's Roscoe Sauce.
Get your eye out in the sauce.
Yeah, I love Ross, man. He's really talented. I met him at the first Breaking Down Borders in Donegal that time. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Roscoe's a cool lad, so he is.
Yeah, I must get a tattoo off him one of the days. Then it's Loki Lou. He's a guy from Limerick.
Yeah.
Golden from Cork. Lurchy Lurch and Farreller. Farreller is only, it's Farreller. Yeah, I hope I'm not fucking mispronouncing that. He's a young lad. He's only about 17 from Dublin. Quality
doing it young then.
MC, so he's got a good bright future ahead of him if he's already that good at his age. Like,
see, like young people, like, see, because you're in school and stuff, I feel like your imagination's just fucking crazy at that age.
Well, I would say in a certain sense, not to toot my own horn, but for my age, I still have a fairly exceptional imagination. I never let that part of me get repressed, I guess, or
yeah.
I keep it lit, I guess.
See, I done my first album when I was 16, and I was on Ritalin at the time. I basically used my study drug instead of schoolwork to write my bars in class.
So you got some good shit
it's
done.
just crazy the amount of material I was writing then compared to now. I feel like I'm writing better material now, but I was writing so much more.
Yeah,
at that age. I think it was just a mixture of being so young and
yeah. I don't know, fair play, because at that age, man, I was just pulling a cook and smoking weed and drinking, and that was about it. So, and getting in trouble in school.
Yeah, I was doing that too, but
then we've got Switch X from Cork, Big Man Davey, Big Man Davey, and me on that track. Then me and C High from Dublin. C High is fucking one of the most underrated rappers in this country, man. I'd listened to some of his stuff and thought it was good. And then I saw him live at the Edgy V and Gigi Karma fucking release party. Myself and Costello were at that, and he was there as well. And Jesus Christ, he was unbelievable. Really, really talented guy. So I'd give him a plug. It's CSEA space high, as in, weed.
You get a different appreciation for certain people, like after you see them live.
Oh,
like
100%, man. Like, I've seen PX perform the most out of everyone by far. Like, I've seen them perform probably a good, like, maybe not all together, but each one of them as a two or three of them together, or the lot of them, or one at a time, at least 20 maybe even 30 times at this point, man, I'd say, because I've been in Limerick for so long. And they're good, they're very good, their music is very good itself, but when you see them perform together, like, it's genuinely like literally Wu-Tang level of fucking what's the word, chemistry, that's the word. Yeah, the chemistry is very, very, very good. And that's something that I'd really want. That's why I'm kind of like, I think me and Trust would have good chemistry on stage as well, just on the music, because we're both quite similar backgrounds, similar experiences and mindsets and interests and all that sort of shit. So, just because you're mates with someone and you make tunes with them doesn't mean you'll necessarily be good together on stage or that kind of thing, you know what I mean? But that's what, like, I really definitely want to emulate something like the way PX have it, where you can just see, like, they've really put the practice in, like, and they're just like, they're straight off the bat know nearly what the next person's going to say, like, or do, or how to react to each other musically and shit like that.
It's just I think it's having one. Somebody needs to have that charisma. Like, it doesn't need to be both, but there's like a certain stage charisma.
There is a lot of artists where their main circle of friends isn't necessarily all rappers and producers, where with them it is. Like in Galway, I wouldn't really have any producer or rapper friends at all, like that I hang out with regularly. And in Limerick, I would, I guess, but I wouldn't, like, we wouldn't be hanging out every day and, you know, having the crack the whole time. It'd just be kind of, we'd meet up at the pub every so often. You know, it wouldn't be hanging out the whole time. So I guess that's what I might be missing, where like we're not constantly getting together and doing stuff. Like, I mean, I'd be very close with Dames and Caffeine and Mace and stuff, and them from Limerick and Tipperary area, but we're not really meeting up that very often, because I mean, obviously we've got all our own shit to do and stuff like that, but
yeah, mate,
I do think
I know what you mean, mate. It's hard.
We should have been meeting up more and doing stuff more often, because when we did, we got loads of shit done, and it was great crack as well. Like, I mean, it was better than all sitting home by ourselves doing nothing that evening, whereas we could meet up and make tunes and have the crack. Like,
yeah, and you make a lot of your best stuff just like that there too. Like, I find the music definitely comes out better if you're sitting in the same room with someone than fucking firing them first.
That's what me and Jason want to do, because the Devil Was a Culture was all done over the internet. Like, I've only actually met Jason in person like a handful of times, like maybe 4 or 5 times max. But yeah, I definitely, because that's something I miss as well back in Galway. Like, say up in Limerick, like a lot of the time, like Strange Boy and like B Noble would rock up to mine, like, and we just sit around fucking smoking spliffs and drinking and just making tunes and just taking the piss all night. Like, you know, even if we're not even making it the worthwhile, it was just a nice place to have, like, where this was the crack. Like, I would have loved to have that when I was younger.
It's just jamming.
Yeah, because there's
but like, sorry, go ahead, mate.
They have like Music Generation up in like Limerick and Cork and stuff like that, where they get a lot of young people into DJing and rapping and b-boying and all this shit. Whereas I didn't have that at all growing up. So they like, there's just an awful lot of young people in those areas that are like into music and just like they've been given this outlet and stuff like that. So by the time they're our age, they've always told me about, like, yeah, that's how they got into it, was Music Gen when they were like 16, 17, 18. Like, I guess in a sense, in Limerick at least, with the way the streets might have been, you know, back in 10 years ago, you know, it didn't have a great name, and there was a huge crime problem there. So I guess there was more effort pushed to keep people off the streets and get them into music. Whereas in Galway, you know, there's a little bit there, but it's you know, there's not nearly as much, and it's, you know, no one goes into Galway thinking like, oh shit, you know, I'm gonna get fucking stabbed here or something like that. And that's not Limerick either, don't get me wrong. Like, I lived in Limerick for 5 years and never had one problem. I got into one fight once on fucking last Paddy's Day, but Paddy's Day is the day to get into a fucking fight.
If you're gonna get in a fight one day of the year, that's it.
I honestly, no word of a lie, man, 4 Paddy's Days in a row I've gotten into a fight, and not me looking for it. Literally just some petty shit, like someone just says something and you're like, fuck off. And the next thing is like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's like, well, there's no way out of this. Like, but yeah, no, so like, I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to talk down on Limerick. Not at all. Like, the place is a really nice place to live, and I fucking had a great time living there, and I probably will move back. It's fucking a lovely, lovely place to live. And
what was the wee light bulb moment, you know, or what was the wee moment that you said to yourself, fuck it, I'm gonna start trying to make beats?
Well, this is the story I've told a few times, but it's a funny story. It was maybe 2012, I'd say. I was about 16, summer 2012, and my mate, who's now training to be a fucking primary school teacher, was making like remixes with Audacity. Like, he's getting like 2-pack beats and putting Biggie Small acapellas on them and stuff like that. And I said, that's cool, I'll have a go at it. And it just went from there, really. I got into that, and I started trying to make my own beats. Yeah, I just kept going and going, and then I guess towards the end of Leaving Cert, I had no interest really in doing anything. I was like, I didn't want to go to college, but I also didn't want to go working straight away. So I guess I was like, fuck it, I'll just do this for the crack. And yeah, no, I stuck with it, and I guess I obviously came up with the name DJ Green because I was smoking a lot of weed at the time and I had nothing else on my mind. So I was just going into college, making beats, smoking joints, and getting my assignments done. That was my daily routine. And I had a great fucking time doing it. And
sounds
I kind of took it more serious. Like, I kept with the music because I went to Limerick then to do music technology and LIT, and I just got my degree there recently enough. And
what was it like, you know, sort of graduating with all this crap going on? Was it a bit of a kick in the teeth, or were you not too worried?
I don't feel any different, to put it that way. Like, I got a nice one. I got a fucking level 8 in music technology. Give me, you know, where's the jobs, you know? Yeah, there's no fucking jobs really out there in music tech, to be honest, man, because there's limited people working at a certain level, like where they're actually recognized as professional mixers and masters and producers and stuff. And I mean, why would they hire anyone? Because that means less work for them, and because there's so few of them, they're getting some amount of cash for their work. Like, so any of the guys who are doing that stuff, they're rich, like, and they're doing very well for themselves. So it's kind of something you have to make your own fucking way in. And I make money here and there off beats and stuff, and I sell my albums and stuff. Like, it's kind of a thing where there's been times where I've made $1,000 in 1 month, and then I might not make nothing for a couple of months. But I think right now it's kind of on the up again, getting steady, so I'm not too worried. But like, I'm not in this just for the money. Like, I kind of said it before. I'm gonna keep the production side, the kind of professional side of things, where I'll do it a certain way and keep it kind of not sophisticated, but like less kind of all over the place and messy. Whereas with the rapping, then I'm just happy to make whatever music I like and just do whatever I want. You know what I mean? Experience, like, I'm not doing anything else really. Like, I don't have a real job, as they say, and like, I think a lot of people just, their stuff, life gets in the way, you know, family and relationships and jobs and stuff like that. Oh, that's well and good, fair enough. Like, but in my experience and my life, the music comes first. Like, obviously not in a crazy sense, like, you know, I'm not gonna let my granny die so I can record this fucking song. Like, I'm not like that. Like,
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, as in, just
it's your priority.
Yeah, it's my priority. Like, you know, that comes.
It's your
before
passion.
Socializing, that comes before, you know, situations where it's all just based on pleasure or whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm a workhorse and I'm gonna keep at it as much as possible. So I'm lucky in that sense. That's why I get a lot of shit done quite quickly. Like, it might seem, because I've had people say to me, like, it seems like you're rushing. It's like, I'm actually not rushing. It's like, you know, I'd like.
You just put the work in.
Yeah, I do a few songs and I kind of feel like I have to take a break, and then I'll be sitting there that evening and it's like, you know, I don't have nothing else to fucking do. Like, you know, it's basically either
Mate, I know what you mean. Like, I'll be like, right, I'll maybe record a song and I'll be like, right, I want to switch off now.
Yeah.
And I'll go and turn the TV on, and they'll say something in the TV show that'll inspire me to write a bar, and then next thing I know, I'm sitting writing bars again for 2 hours, and I'm like, fuck's sake, what happened to switching off?
Oh, it's great, man. Honestly, like, one of my favorite things since I started rapping is genuinely just rolling a big spliff, sitting back and just like taking my time and sitting there and writing for hours, like maybe 2 hours at a time, like, and just, I really enjoy that. It's a nice way to switch off and just relax and just write away whatever is in my head, and I'll have a beat there generally just on loop for the whole time.
Yeah.
I'll just put something together for it, like.
I haven't been writing the beats as much lately.
I think I've actually started doing it a little less lately, where I've just been like, if I don't have a beat in mind or I don't necessarily have a beat there that I want to rap on, I'll just write. But generally, I'll have the beats, say for this boom bap, the boom bap thing.
It's
the moment, like,
it's better to do it that way. I find, because I'm in work most of the week.
Yeah.
I just write while I'm working. So I've never like an instrumental playing or nothing. I'll come up with bars and stuff, and then like I'll sort of say, I'll have like a beat in mind that I've got in the house or something.
Yeah, I'd often, like, for me, my version of that would be just like sitting on the bus, and then like I'll spot some antics out the window and be like writing something about it. Then, like, you know,
yeah,
sitting there in my little notepad taking notes on all these people around me, like.
Yeah, mate, it's annoying too. Like, there's times I always come up with stuff at like times like where it sort of annoys me, because maybe I'll come up with something and I'll forget to write it down, and then I'll be sitting for like half an hour in the house, sitting trying to remember what I came up with.
Yeah, it always happens to me when I'm drunk. I'm in the toilet.
Yeah, like say you're out at the bar or something,
taking a piss or something like that. But I've no shame, man. I'll be like, give me a piece of paper there, or I'll just like write it down on my phone or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I just sort of say to myself I'm gonna write it down, and then I forget, and then I'm like, oh crap.
Even if I'm really hungover, it's the first thing I remember. I'll wake up and I go, what was that bar again? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, just stacking the ammo.
Again, sometimes it sounds a lot better in your head when you're pissed than it does when you're fucking dead sober. Like, what the fuck was I thinking about that? Like, that's shite.
Aye, that's true, mate. That's true. Like, you ever like a lot of people will call, you know, their party tricks. So like, you're sitting maybe spitting a few bars for your mates, and you come up with something though when you're pissed, and then you see a video of it back, and you're like, oh, that's shite.
I can't really rap, to be honest, when I'm inebriated. Anyways, like, I've never tried to do it. I can do it with a few beers in me, but I wouldn't be able to I'm no good at freestyling really off the top of my head. Like, I guess it does take practice, and I don't really practice it, like, but yeah, like, I'd still be at a stage where I'd kind of like, I need to know my lines beforehand and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, each their own. Some people are great at freestyling, some people are great at battle rap, and some people are great at writing songs, and some people are great at all three. But you know, as long as you're good at one thing, you can call yourself an MC. Like,
Yeah, mate. Most people are more writers. Like, I would say I'm more of a writer, but I'll sort of just, if I'm out, you know what it's like if somebody knows you rap, like and you're out drinking, they'll be like, "Yo, do this, do that," and you'll be like, "Right." So I'll maybe start freestyling with something that's around and start taking the piss out of them a bit, so they'll never ask me to do it again.
I'll always just come out with the most rotten fucking lyrics I have. Like I have one,
Yeah.
I have one song. I'll tell you to go and listen to it. It's called "Emotional Wisdom." It's on my first album, the Cretin LP, and like I even got, I don't know who he was. Some guy commented on it and said like, he's like, I'm pretty sure like that song there like goes against like fucking UN like human rights law and shit like something like that. Like, I won't describe it. It's a fucking gruesome, rotten song, and that's the one.
Give us a bar or two, like the most fucked up bar in it.
With your twisted flappy lips, you has been damaged trampy bitch. Yeah, I'd give you a tissue, but I don't want AIDS crabs and shit. You ain't feeling the bestest with speed and semen for breakfast. Yeah, he's texting other skets while you search for your dresses. And let me guess, you never met your father, so you let men in your bed and say fuck me like your daughter. If she's calling you daddy the first time you're fucking her shit, well, she's a bad fucking fanny. You better run up and split. The girlfriend loves that one.
Oh man, what was that called again?
Emotional Wisdom.
Right, I'm going to listen to that after this.
Yeah, because that was the first one I ever learned off by heart. I think it was maybe the first song I wrote where I was like, that's fucking sick. But
Yeah.
as well, I didn't want it to be my staple to just because I know like at least my general humor would be dark and stuff like that. So I guess anyone who would have expected me to be a rapper would expect all my songs to be just fuck, shit, piss, cunt, and all this stuff. Like, but I try to write lots of different stuff, like, because that's obviously not the only side to my personality, but like. You know, I think songs that are like offensive or edgy, like as long as they've got substance and lyricism in them, I think fire.
Yeah,
away,
man.
Like, there's no point. It just sounds cheesy if you're just doing it for the sake of it. Like,
Yeah, like when you're just saying, I killed this person and I'm rapping over a Chris Benoit sample, it's not, but if there's like if you're using multis and all these mad similes and stuff, and you're actually being creative with it.
yeah, Slim Shady would have never kicked off if if Eminem wasn't a sick rapper. Like, you know, those songs
Yeah.
have just been like, what the fuck? But no, like the likes of As the World Turns and shit like that. It's like that fucking shit is just unbelievable. Like, you know, so I mean,
Yeah,
that would be an inspiration for it too. Like,
I think it's because it's disgusting, but it's done so well that nobody can deny it.
the problem
you know?
with songs like that nowadays, like people, they kind of forget the fact that it's a song. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it sounds greatly sexist and vile and stuff like that, but it's not you know, exactly who I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I've got, like, I'll put it this way: any of the songs where I've got kind of that kind of shit in it, the biggest fans of them are all girls. That's the ironic side to it. Like, any song like Sweet Ho Alabama is literally just about like hoes and sluts and bitches and shit.
Yeah.
Like, literally the 4 or 5 people that have come up to me and said they love that song are all girls. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, man.
it's just people seem to not be able to deviate the differences. Like,
People generalize and sort of everybody's you know a crybaby nowadays, like in 2020.
if I watch horror films, does that mean I like killing people? No.
No.
If I play fucking Call of Duty, does it mean I fucking love shooting people? No. But then with music it seems to be a little bit more kind of, but like you're saying it, like, you know, you're
See the best way I can explain it, mate. Like, see who I would say my biggest influence is for music, and they're not even a musician. Well, sort of are, because they've done a musical. Matt Stone and Trey Parker, and like they always say, either everything's okay to make fun of or nothing is.
Oh yeah.
You know, there shouldn't be any
I'm all for that,
boundaries to
like,
humour.
believe me, man, some people, like, I don't think I've ever been offended by a joke said to me like,
Yeah, why is it okay to make fun of one problem and not okay to make fun of another problem? Like
it just depends. It's always the context. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'll give you a good example. Like, my mother died of cancer, man, and I've heard people make cancer jokes, and they don't bother me at all. If the joke's funny, I'll laugh at it. Like, it's the difference between saying that and then turning around to me and insulting my mother. Do you know what I mean? Because that might be something where I wouldn't say that in front of him. Like, or even if someone says your mother joke, like, they'll always say like, oh shit, I'm sorry, but it's like, yeah, but I know the context, you know, because if I'm someone who laughs at other shit that doesn't really relate to me, like, you know, I can't be picky. It's like, oh wait, but you can't laugh at this because of this relates to me. Do you know what I mean? You can't be.
Yeah.
Because people are unapologetically like that. It's like they'll make fun of every last fucking thing out there, but as soon as someone turns around and goes, haha, gingers have no souls, it's like, oh, you piece of shit, how dare you say that to me, I'm ginger. It's like, fuck off. Like, you laugh at every other person's misfortune out there, and you fucking can't take it when it's directed at you. I hate that mentality, and people are so blind to it, it's insane. It's just like, no, this is all my little bubble, and these are the jokes that are okay, and these are the ones that are not. Well, it's like, well, fuck you anyway, and if you got a problem with it, do something about it. But they never will, you know?
Yeah, mate. People, the world just takes everything too serious. It's...
People are lost, man. They're really lost at this
like,
stage.
we're here for a limited amount of time. Like, do we really have time to cry over these first world problems?
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be the fucking messiah.
Exactly, mate. Nail on the head. Well, mate, I think we've covered everything anyway, so...
Yeah, perfect, man. If you want me to come on and talk more shit, I'll do it any time.